The 48-hour rule for crisis, why you must wait before reacting to bad news. The moment the bad news hits, the layoff, the breakup, the failure, the market crash, your primary enemy is not the event itself. It is the immediate, panicked, and deeply emotional reaction you are tempted to launch. Emotional reaction guarantees a destructive outcome. You must create an emergency buffer between the trigger and your response. This buffer is the 48-hour rule for crisis. When the bomb drops, your primary and non-negotiable mission is to sit on your hands and do nothing for 48 hours. This is the difference between a crisis that derails your life and one that simply redirects it. The Amygdala Hijack. The 48-hour rule is a biological necessity. When bad news hits, your brain is immediately hijacked by the amygdala, your panic center. It floods your system with cortisol and adrenaline, making complex, rational thought impossible. In this state, your brain defaults to the simplest, most primitive responses: fight, flight, or freeze. These responses are terrible for solving modern problems like financial shortfalls, communication breakdowns, or strategic pivots. The 48-hour pause allows the stress hormones to dissipate. It shifts the control back to your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for logic, planning, and long-term consequences. You are literally waiting for your brain to become intelligent again. The cost of the immediate email. The biggest mistake made in the modern crisis is the immediate emotional email or text message. When you act on impulse, you write things you cannot take back and make commitments you cannot keep. The pause is not inaction. It is data collection and assessment. During the 48 hours, you gather the facts, assess the damage, and, most importantly, identify your highest leverage opportunity in the wreckage. Bad news is always a signal for change. You cannot see the new path if your vision is blurred by immediate panic. Wait for clarity. 2 case studies. The power of the pause in crisis. Let's look at 2 individuals who turned a disaster into a strategic pivot by employing the 48-hour rule.
Case study 1, the stock market crash. An investor watched his portfolio drop 30% during a sudden market dip. His friends immediately sold everything in a panic, the flight response. He implemented the 48-hour rule. During the pause, he calmly consulted his initial investment thesis. He realized his long-term plan was still sound. By day 3, he not only held his positions but used the cash he had saved, his raincoat, following video 9, to buy back in at the low price. Case study 2, the business betrayal. A partner was blindsided when her co-founder stole a client list and defected. Her immediate urge was to lash out legally and publicly, the fight response. She applied the 48-hour rule. The pause allowed her to calmly contact her core clients, securing their loyalty, and then she used the remaining time to rebuild the company with a stronger legal structure. The pause secured her future, while her ex-partner was focused on the initial fight.
The takeaway and action plan. The crisis demands a pause. Do not act until you are thinking clearly. Here is your 3-step plan to implement the 48-hour rule. 1. Create a crisis contact. Identify one calm, rational, non-emotional friend or mentor. When bad news hits, your first action is to simply send them one text. 48-hour rule initiated. Do not let me send any major emails. 2. Separate the fact from the emotion. Write down the 5 cold, hard facts of the crisis on one side of a page. Write down the 5 strongest emotions on the other. Do not let the emotions bleed into the facts. 3. Focus on mechanical self-care. For the 48 hours, focus only on simple, mechanical tasks: walking, cleaning, cooking. Do nothing that requires a decision. Let the panic pass, let the logic resume. The moment the bad news hits, the layoff, the breakup, the failure, the market crash, your primary enemy is not the event itself. It is the immediate, panicked, and deeply emotional reaction you are tempted to launch. Emotional reaction guarantees a destructive outcome. You must create an emergency buffer between the trigger and your response. This buffer is the 48-hour rule for crisis. When the bomb drops, your primary and non-negotiable mission is to sit on your hands and do nothing for 48 hours. This is the difference between a crisis that derails your life and one that simply redirects it. If this concept of strategic pausing and building resilience resonates with you, hit the like button. And to join a community focused on building resilient, forward-moving momentum through crisis, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Now go back to your day and ask yourself, who is my crisis contact?